Tomorrow is January 6th. In the time since the Capitol was overrun 3 years ago, we've seen investigations, we've heard testimonies, and for the record, a lot of misinformation. Now, Scripps News is dedicated to finding the truth. To that end, we obtained much of the video used to prosecute a slew of January 6 rioters at the United States Capitol. And with the help of a group of attorneys and a coalition of journalists, we fought behind the scenes to access the video exhibits used to send several people to prison, some for years. National investigative correspondent Lori Jane Gliha digs into court documents and shows us some of the video evidence you almost didn't get to see from one of the largest criminal prosecutions in U.S. history.
The Department of Justice says more than 1,200 people have been charged with crimes related to the attack on the Capitol on January 6, 2021. And we have some of the video that prosecutors used to put several of those people away.
They just shot me with a rubber bullet just for yelling at them.
Were you up on the Capitol steps, or?
No, I was right down below. They just shot me with a rubber bullet for nothing. Absolutely nothing.
This was Exhibit 10 in the case against Florida's Robert Palmer.
This is the United States of America. This is what our country is doing to the citizens.
And that was Exhibit 9. 8 and 7 are closed-circuit Capitol video camera recordings Scripps News obtained, showing Palmer wearing that same American flag jacket, picking up a pole and launching it. In Exhibit 5, you can see Palmer in the lower right corner of this Getty Images video. Here's another view, Exhibit 4. That's when he launched a piece of plywood at police. Each video an important piece of evidence in Palmer's case.
If the government is using evidence to keep people in jail, then the public has an extreme interest in seeing what that evidence is.
Chuck Tobin is one of the attorneys who represents Scripps News and a coalition of journalists from more than a dozen organizations, including the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, and the Washington Post. He worked to get video evidence from 184 cases released. This happened despite pushback in some cases from government officials who feared video recorded inside the Capitol could reveal secret security information.
It's important to transparency. It's important to the process. It's important to a full understanding of what these people allegedly did on January 6th.
Palmer's prosecution ended with 63 months in prison. That's more than 5 years after he pleaded guilty to assaulting, resisting, or impeding officers using a dangerous weapon. That's him in Exhibit 6, retrieving a fire extinguisher, and in Exhibit 1, spraying and then throwing the device at police. Scripps News shared the footage with Palmer's friend and spiritual mentor, Michael Battenberg.
I was disappointed at the decisions that he made, but then again, I was disappointed when I heard what he did. It's just when I saw what he did, I was even more disappointed and sympathetic for those that were trying to do their job.
Battenberg had written a character letter on Palmer's behalf in 2021 before ever seeing the video. He called him a good man with a good heart who got caught up in the media and emotional hype.
Video is video, and it's exactly what happened, and I think it would give people a lot better understanding of exactly what happened as it was taking place, and allow them to make their decisions based on what they're seeing and not just what they're hearing.
In a handwritten letter to the judge, Palmer himself offered his sincere and deepest apologies and declared that he was, quote, lied to by those that at the time had great power, meaning the then sitting president, as well as those acting on his behalf. The Department of Justice says at least 454 people have been sentenced to periods of incarceration related to their criminal activity on January 6th. And we have video from many. That includes this footage of Thomas Webster, who received a 10-year prison sentence. He used a metal flagpole to attack a police officer. And this is the footage from the body camera that was strapped to former D.C. police officer Michael Fanone as he was being attacked.
Without it, I don't believe there would have been any criminal prosecutions.
Rioters dragged Fanone into the crowd and started beating and tasing him. They knocked Fanone unconscious.
The likelihood of identifying the people that were there that day is virtually zero without that evidence.
2 of his accused attackers received more than 7 years in prison.
Those images tell the true story of what happened on January 6th. And they show the savage brutality of that day for what it was.
The government reported approximately 120 people to date have been charged with using a deadly or dangerous weapon or causing bodily injury to an officer. Lori Jane Gliha, Scripps News, Denver.